Hello everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners along with Bob Iacchino. If you're new to this channel, please like, subscribe, and comment so we can keep it growing and helping more and more crypto traders. Bitcoin Gold finally got the igniting bar right here. Ran up, pulled back to the rotation zone, really blasted through our levels, but the top levels, that's why we keep them on, at least initially, provided some key support. Show you what that looked like on the 1 hour, back to the rotation zone on the 1 hour with 8 pushes the price in the 4 hour. Then projected the next levels up from this point, this key low back on the 17th up to the high on the 19th. And that gave us a 415. We also had that level mentioned earlier, the 420 level. So we had that nice little stuff spiked up to about 422. Now it's pulling back. Another projection from the low on the 19th up to the most recent high on the 20th gives us the next levels higher. We saw that other level wasn't hit 431. Then we're looking at 439 and 456 levels to either take some off or trail stops. Let me zoom into the 1 hour real quick, show you what that with 8 pushing the price. This is when it returned to the 1 hour rotation zone, and that was 8 pushing the price in the 4 hour after the explosive move. These are the kind of entries you're really looking for, where you get the explosive move, you wait for the nice pullback, and then you get in and you ride it higher, because we can never predict when these happens. If you were lucky enough to get it on a breakout from this, because it was in really long consolidation, this broke out from the key level. That was another entry. And then riding higher, riding back. See, you're almost at the same level though. Many times you'll see this where you'll break out from something, it'll move up higher and everybody's like, oh, I missed it. Then you'll get the pullback. That's a nice pullback, caught in the rotation zone, back to the prior breakout area. So let's say you bought in this candle close, well, you could almost buy there again when it pulled back here. So those are the levels higher. Looks like we finally got the rotation into Bitcoin Gold. Let's check in on the daily chart. So what are we watching for now? Well, we again, those higher levels, and ultimately back to 478. We like a slight little pause, a key pullback, and then a rotation back up. Let's check the 4 hour again, just to fine tune these levels. It's already pulled back to 20. We have a cluster here from the most recent push and the longer term gain retracement, and it's already found the low there. If this doesn't hold, if we don't get the rotation back up there, the next major level, which is very key support and a gain level, and the rising 8 is coming in about 372 to 375. So if we fall back down, watch for that. And then a bigger pullback, the next cluster would take us to 354 to 356. All right, over to the original Bitcoin, which nobody seems to like anymore. No, we're just experiencing a bigger pullback. Yeah, some people are now rotating on the mad dash out of Bitcoin into Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold. You know, now it's more accessible, like on stuff like Coinbase and everything. So people are taking some of their Bitcoin off and going into other things. And again, this is just part of technical analysis. We talked about it got overdone. We needed a bigger pullback. You see it rotate up in the rotation zone, coming back down. This is a double bottom pattern on a 4 hour chart. And the rotation zone out of the way, but it would not trigger until we got back above 17,709 on an extended move or a closing basis. I'm just putting out these levels in case we did have a move back up. You could watch for the key close above that 17,709 level. Targets for that would be 18,726, 19,234, and 19,743. However, any other patterns, people say, well, why don't you just get it in now? Because this doesn't have to trigger. We're against the rotation zone. This could keep going lower. This could keep going in a lot lower. So we're not just rushing in, and there's no other pattern yet here to buy. So we're not just rushing in and, oh, hope, well, what if we get it here instead of here? Well, we don't know what's going to happen. This could go down to like 14,471 before this ever triggered, and then this wouldn't be a valid pattern. So that's part of trading, relying on your patterns and knowing when you have the high probabilities and when you don't. Just mean you front run a pattern just because it may trigger. All right, so right now we're still holding at this very key cluster. Yes, we've dipped below it, dipped below it, dipped below it. Every time it's brought in buyers. If we continue down, though, all these buyers are going to be wrong, and we may face some more selling pressure. And if you did accumulate, pay attention to the rotation zone, because just as it's key support when it's going up, it's key resistance when it's going down. Let's check in on the daily picture. Daily picture for Bitcoin. We're almost to the bottom of the rotation zone. This is going to keep coming up. This level right around this 15,415 to 15,300 is very key. If we get an extended move or a close below that, we're going to continue to watch for an even bigger pullback. We may get a slight bounce before that because we have the rotation zone against us, but then if we do get a close below this, watch for the bigger pullback. The first level would be about 14,450. Then we'd be looking, the next major cluster is all the way back down to about 12,800. But let's check in on the weekly. We've talked about the rotation zone on the weekly and how far we've pulled away. And that 12.8 is the very top of the rotation zone. So it's not out of the question that we could see a pullback, which would shock most people who aren't paying attention to the key levels and where this could go. That's why we're not being aggressive right now. We're letting this play out. There'll be opportunities to get back in, but it's got to find some key support. It's been way overdone, especially with people rotating out of it. So we might see the bigger pullback. But we also have that pattern on the 4 hour. Should it trigger, hey, that's a double bottom, which is a highly reliable pattern. And that could trigger us back into Bitcoin sooner. And finally, last but not least, Bitcoin Cash for right now. We put on that level earlier today, 39.24. We spiked up through it and then dropped like a rock back below it. Holding on a closing basis so far above the 25% retracement level. So that is very key. We got the rising rotation zone moving in. Let me go back down to the 1 hour. So this would be an aggressive entry on a 1 hour, pulling back, holding at the 25% level, and then rotating back up. That's what it looks like with 8 pushing the price, combining it with the 1 hour. Now, if that does not hold and we have a bigger pullback, the next level down is about 3,000, 29.87 to 3,000. If this continues higher, here's your next key levels, 44.14, 47.24. That's really the most reliable levels we can come up with right now. But this is getting extended, but it'll keep going until it doesn't. So just trail your stops or take some off the key levels and look to add back in the rotation zones. Let's check in on the daily chart for Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash ripping away from the daily rotation zone. So at some point these will catch up. We'll see if we get a complex correction or just a simple pause, starting this letting this to catch up before we go to potential new highs. But nothing else other than to watch for those rotation setups. There's no other pattern forming, and look for your next key levels and trail your stops. This is in a very bullish mode as long as it does remain above this 33.59 level. So we have for you on the Bitcoin series for today. Hope this helps you and makes you a better trader, and we will talk to you soon. Bye for now.